There's some fields out here right off my nose as this comes over that is blowing dirt, is blowing it. It's not coming into it like it was before. It's blowing out of it. So there's a ton of dirt being pushed out here. I don't know if you can see it right there in that shot, but it's pretty impressive. But anyway, we're going to duck off to the south here, Gary. I-35, I'm looking over. I-35 is just a parking lot coming southbound too. So hopefully there's nothing else that tracks through this way, Gary, or there's going to be major problems. Jim Gunner, report live from Bob Mills, Sky News 9, back to you.
So we understand the sirens are blowing in Tecumseh, Oklahoma. Tecumseh is just a little south of Shawnee. In fact, if you take XL, we can see circulation is along Interstate 40, a little south of Interstate 40, down to 89th Street, to 104th Street, to 119th Street, 134th, and it's moving toward the Shawnee, Tecumseh area, maybe Bethel Acres, Shawnee Lake. Fairly strong circulation, one of the stronger ones we've had in a little while, right, Mike?
That is correct. Probably the strongest one we've had in about a half hour, at least in terms of rotation.
Okay. So David Payne is right over there on Interstate 40 with this thing as it moves toward Bethel Acres, Dale, and possibly Shawnee. Of course, we have the storm. The sirens are blowing in Tecumseh, and you guys have a tornado warning in your area. These things are wrapping up all along and have been for several hours right along the bottom edge of this. Now, this storm has now moved down into Shawnee, and that's where we just saw from Sky News 9 what appear to be hundreds of cars trying to move south away from this thing. The problem is it's surging a little bit to the south and to the southeast. So they may be in a situation where they have to keep going because these storms are going to last for a while, it appears. Now, this storm back to the west of Norman, Newcastle, we're seeing a lot of strong winds in this area down toward Tom and Rob. Hank, is anybody to check with Tom and Rob and Hank and what they have?
You have Hank talking right
Gary,
now.
we're here. We just passed through Amber,
Okay.
and we actually have outflow winds here.
Okay, great.
Temperatures in the mid-60s. So
It's 60 mile per hour?
Actually, we're about 30 mile an hour north winds here.
Go ahead. Okay. We see a big outflow boundary. Goes up into the small mesocyclone that's over Norman, and from mesocyclones come tornadoes sometimes. And it's in the Norman area, East Norman right now, probably north or in the vicinity of Highway 9, and it's a few miles wide. Okay, it's there, and from that circulation comes an outflow boundary all the way back to Chickasha. So you guys in Verdon and Chickasha and Dibble and maybe even Purcell, it's just strong, straight winds. Also Blanchard, if you can look at, you're looking at it right there. That's that big bow comes out of it. Then you can see the mesocyclone right where the word Norman is. That's where the main circulation is, between there and just north of that. So that's the circulation, outflow around it. So back to the west is strong, straight winds in the Norman area, down toward Noble, and maybe later Tribby, Brooksville and Tecumseh, all those places. Be alert. If this thing starts shoving east, it'll be moving directly toward you. So there's tornado warning on that storm. And also in behind it, strong straight winds. And yeah, they could get up 90 mile per hour or so. Blanchard, Dibble, back to Amber. You guys in Chickasha, Anadarko right now. We may look a little stormy in there. So we have also still have this circulation over Moore, the east parts of Moore, and very strong winds coming into, it's right over Norman, very strong winds coming into West Norman and points out the west. Newcastle, you guys having very strong winds, but Norman's probably has been having really tremendously strong winds. And I see we might check in with Tom and Rob again. Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, Gary, we're just coming south out of Amber. I'm trying to stay ahead of it right now. The clouds look really ominous, but right now there's nothing threatening at the moment.
Lincoln County and Pottawatomie and Seminole and down south parts of Cleveland County, even southern points on the south may have to deal with this. Right now, none of the circulations look too angry, except the one in Norman is very, I would say it's moderately strong, which means it can produce damage, and the one that's moving toward we call it Dale, and OBU and Shawnee could also produce damage, and they develop very, very suddenly within the precipitation. We've had apparently a lot of damage around. We've had some fatalities, so not a good thing. But we just want to remind all of you folks, as the storm's near you in the next 1 to 2 hours, they may well suddenly increase, and the tornadic circulations may increase also. So just be aware. I think for most of Oklahoma County, if we look at Storm Shield, I'll back off here. There's a little storm south of Guthrie, and then we look Oklahoma County. You know, it appears north of Interstate 40, and most of Oklahoma County is fine. West of El Reno, the precipitation is decreasing. There's probably a lot of flooding around. What was rainfall you saw in there, Lacey?
There was some 4 inches.
Some 4-inch rainfall amounts in parts of central Oklahoma. get over in there, so you may be able to see what's coming. And we've had some 90, maybe 100-mile-per-hour winds with this storm as it moved through the Moore area. So tornado warning will continue. This storm moves on to the east toward Lake Thunderbird, Little Axe, Pink, and southern edge of it right now, Nelson Lane. Let me get a bigger street. East Polk Road. So it's east. It's north of East Polk Road. It's north. Man, I got to tell you, these streets down there in Norman are something else. Let's just call it, it's north of Post Oak Road. All right, north of Post Oak Road. I don't know who named those things. Post Oak Road, north of there, and right now it is south. Appears to be south of Alameda Street. And we get down in here, so right now it looks like the center of the circulation at the moment is right along 84th Avenue Southeast. So how's the velocities look on that thing? Still strong?
They're pretty strong.
Okay, velocities continue quite strong, so continue with your tornado precautions. And, you know, it doesn't look like it's moving very fast, 20 miles per hour, and it is moving toward Lake Thunderbird. So call the folks out there that you know, and they need to move to a place of safety. And you can see the hook quite well now on a lot of different structures, a lot of different radars that we have at this particular time. Let me just zoom in here a little bit.
It looks like there's a tornado. I mean,
yeah, it does look like a tornado without a doubt. I'll move that thing east at 20. Move on over there, 25. It doesn't look that fast at all. So right now we just call it 20. Sometimes they just surge rather rapidly to the east and southeast. So this would be the Tecumseh area, close to Tecumseh, in 1 hour. That's if it moves due east. So we'll go, where Thunderbird is a large area, but it's moving toward Thunderbird Lake. And Little Axe, 849, Pink, 8904, Macomb, 922, and really Tecumseh at 1 hour from now.